The message from my daughter devastated me. Dad, this vacation is just for the four of us. David says you're too annoying. And this after I had paid for the entire trip. Outraged by the betrayal, I canceled everything, shattering their illusions of easy money. But that was only the beginning. The consequences, full of justice and pain, will make them understand the price of disrespecting their father. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The phone buzzed in my hand. I sat on my terrace in Clearwater, watching the afternoon sun. My coffee had gone cold an hour ago. The message from Sarah glowed on the screen, each word driving deeper like a nail. Dad, this vacation is just for the four of us. David says you're too annoying. Hope you understand. Four of us. Sarah, David, and his parents. Robert and Linda Morrison from Tampa. Not five. Four. I set the phone down. My hands were steady, which surprised me. The mockingbird in the oak tree kept singing, like my daughter hadn't just uninvited me from a vacation I'd paid for. $18,500. The number sat in my mind with perfect clarity. I'd worked as a CPA for 35 years. Numbers never left me. Every receipt, every transfer, every decimal stayed locked in my memory. Last Saturday, the barbecue at Sarah's place in Orlando. I'd driven 90 minutes up Highway 4 in my 2015 Camry, bringing the potato salad she always requested. David had been showing off his new Weber Genesis grill, wearing a grill master apron. Martin, you want a beer? David had called out, not looking at me. Water's fine, thanks. Robert Morrison had been holding court by the pool. We just got back from Scottsdale. Played True North, shot in 82. Linda had air-kissed me, her Chanel perfume overwhelming. Martin, dear, still driving that old Camry? You really should treat yourself. As if I hadn't spent 5 years treating everyone else. Sarah had pulled me aside during dinner. Her smile had that tight quality it got when she needed something. Dad, can we talk? We'd stood by the fence. David joined us, his arm around Sarah's waist. We've been talking about a family vacation, Sarah started. The Bahamas. Paradise Resort in Nassau. It's always been David's dream. David nodded. Absolutely transformative location. The thing is, Sarah continued, her voice dropping, it's expensive. Over $20,000 for all 6 of us. 6. That number had included me. We'd love to go, David said, using his practiced sympathy voice. But with the new office expenses and Sarah's car payment, we just can't swing it. They both looked at me with expectant faces. Linda and Robert had been watching from across the yard, pretending not to listen. Something in me, the part that remembered Sarah at 6 years old, calling me her hero, cracked open. I could help, I'd said. Sarah's face lit up. Dad, really? I want to. Let me handle the flights and hotel. Consider it an early birthday gift. David had actually hugged me. First time in 5 years. Martin, you're amazing. This is going to be incredible. All of us together. All of us. That evening, I'd sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. The Paradise Resort website showed crystal water and white sand. I'd entered my credit card information. Flights on American Airlines, $6,500. Resort rooms, $8,900. Transfers, meals, resort fees, $3,100. Total, $18,500. Nearly half my annual income from consulting and pension. But Sarah had smiled at me like she used to, before David and dollar signs. That smile was worth $18,500. I'd transferred the money that night. She'd texted back, Dad, you're the best. Love you so much. 3 heart emojis. 1 week later, 1 heart emoji and 2 annoying. The math didn't work. I picked up my phone, scrolled through our message history. Most were from her. Dad, can you help with... Dad, emergency. When had I last heard from her when she didn't need money? The mockingbird stopped singing. Evening settled over my Oak Street neighborhood. My house, 3 bedrooms, bought in 1998 for $89,000. David had once called it charmingly vintage, which meant embarrassingly small, I should call her. Demand an explanation. Instead, I sat as the Florida heat broke. My coffee cup sweated condensation. The phone screen went dark. Something had shifted inside me. not broken. That implied something sudden. This was like watching ice melt. The cold certainty that I'd been useful, not loved. A resource, not a father. $18,500. The exact price of learning where I stood. The house felt emptier when I went inside. I didn't call Sarah, didn't text back, just stood in my small kitchen with its formica counters, looking at nothing. That night, sleep didn't come. I lay in bed watching the ceiling fan spin, thinking about numbers and family. My mind kept analyzing that message like I'd once analyzed corporate balance sheets. Too annoying. What had I done? Paid for their vacation, existed. Somewhere around midnight, something made a decision. Not the hurt part, that was numb. The other part, the part that had spent 3 decades unraveling financial fraud, exposing lies, following paper trails to their inevitable conclusions. The part they used to call Bulldog at Morrison and Associates. I got out of bed and went to my office, but first I'd tried to sleep. My mind opened files. Memory after memory, dollar amounts attached. The wedding, 5 years back, $12,000 for catering. Then Sarah called crying. Dad, florist wants $5,000, cash. We lose everything Friday. Drove over with check. David in golf clothes. Lifesaver. Wedding, $17,000, 6 months later. Dad, roof leak, $8,500, urgent. Money sent. Thanksgiving, kitchen renovated. Granite, stainless steel. The roof? Fixed. Upgraded kitchen while contractors were there. My money. The car. Sarah's Honda, fine. 2018, 40,000 miles. Needed professional. Dad found BMW. 15,000 down. Payback 6 months. Liquidated CD. Paid penalties. Sent 15,000. 3 years ago. Never repaid. Mentioned it. David laughed. Family doesn't keep score. Medical bills. Dad, ER. Stomach pains. 6,000. Paid immediately. Days later, Facebook showed Disney Springs. STK Orlando. Boathouse. No hospital bans. 87,000 over 5 years. Morrison's used comments like scalpels. Robert moved 50,000 into emerging markets. Linda. This neighborhood is so dated. David's birthday. Robert. Still consulting. Tough for small-timers. Small-timer. Middle manager at paper company. Smiled. Nodded. What I didn't say. 15 years senior audit partner. Morrison and Associates. Unraveled $40 million fraud, 2019. Tampa Bay Times. Relentless. Colleagues Bulldog. Never told Sarah. After her mother died, simplified everything. Wanted presence, not intimidation. Succeeded to doormat. Sky grade. Hours there. Something crystallized. Hurt sharp. Underneath, colder. 35 years following money. Tracking untouchables. Let family run simplest con. Loving daughter. Performed when ATM needed. 5:30. Mockingbird. Up. Past pink bathroom. Past Sarah's room. Office. Desk. Laptop. Cabinet. Behind laptop. Framed CPA license. Partnership certificate. Opened laptop. Taught Sarah biking. Paid UCF. Every milestone. Somewhere stopped being father. Became bank. Email. Address unused 3 years. Thomas Bradley. Colleague turned investigator. Tampa. Tom, need financial workup. Public records, credit, liens. 4 subjects. Rush. Martin. Names. David Morrison, Sarah Henderson Morrison, Robert Morrison, Linda Morrison. Sat back. Bulldog awake. Thomas responded within an hour. Martin, good to hear from you. Been too long. Can have preliminary report in 72 hours. Full workup in a week. Standard rate is $2,000 for 4 subjects. Let me know if you need it faster. Tom, I replied immediately. Full workup. Rush it. I'll wire the money this morning. 3 days felt like 3 weeks. I went through motions. Coffee on the terrace. Grocery shopping at Publix on Gulf to Bay. Mowed the lawn. Waved to Walter Price next door when he brought in his garbage cans. You all right, Martin? Walter called over the hedge. Look like you got something on your mind. Just thinking about family, I said. Walter nodded knowingly. He'd been a family law attorney for 30 years before retirement. Family's complicated, especially when money's involved. He had no idea. Sarah called the second day. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. Dad, I know you're upset. David didn't mean anything by it. We just thought The Morrisons are kind of formal, you know. We didn't want things to be awkward. Can we talk? Please? The Morrisons are formal. That was Rich. Robert had spent Thanksgiving 3 years ago explaining his hemorrhoid surgery in graphic detail over turkey. She called again that evening. Again, voicemail. Dad, you're scaring me. At least text back so I know you're okay. David says we should give you space, but I'm worried. Love you, David says. Everything was David says now. I didn't respond. Silence was its own message. The third morning, Thomas's email arrived at 6:47. Subject line, Financial Report, Morrison Family. I made fresh coffee first. Strong. Sat at my desk. Opened the attachment. 32 pages. Color-coded spreadsheets. Credit reports. Property records. Court filings. Thomas had been thorough. The summary page made my coffee go cold. David Morrison. Total debt load, $108,000. Business loan from SunTrust for real estate office, $85,000, currently in default. 2 months behind on payments. Online gambling accounts with DraftKings and FanDuel. Cumulative losses, $23,000 over 18 months. Funded through cash advances on 4 credit cards, all maxed out. Credit score, 587. Sarah Henderson Morrison. Credit card debt across 7 cards, $47,000. Nordstrom, Macy's, American Express, Chase, Capital One, Discover, Citi. Minimum payments total, $1,340 monthly. Current income as car sales manager, $3,800 or monthly base plus commission, averaging $800. Credit score, 612. Robert Morrison. Primary residence mortgage with Wells Fargo, $340,000 remaining on original $365,000 loan. Property currently valued at $385,000. Purchased 3 years ago at market peak. Monthly payment with insurance and HOA, $3,200. Combined pension income with spouse, $4,100 monthly. No other major assets. Linda Morrison, no individual debts. Joint on mortgage. I sat back, read it again. They were drowning. Every single one of them was barely treading water financially, and I'd been their life raft. The emergency rope they grabbed whenever the waves got too high. Thomas's notes continued. David Morrison's real estate business, Morrison Premier Properties, has had 0 sales in last 4 months. Office lease in Winter Park is $2,800 monthly. He's facing potential foreclosure on business loan by August. Sarah's commission income has dropped 40% this year due to market slowdown. The Morrisons refinanced their home last year, likely to cover expenses, pulled out $25,000 in equity. More pages. Credit inquiries, collection notices, past due medical bills for Robert. That high blood pressure medication wasn't cheap. A dismissed lawsuit from David's former business partner claiming David had misappropriated client funds. I'd been funding a sinking ship, multiple sinking ships. The Bahamas vacation hadn't been about family bonding. It had been about maintaining an illusion, about Robert and Linda still believing their son was successful, about David proving he could provide for Sarah, about Sarah not admitting she'd married a fraud, and my presence would have shattered that illusion. The modest father-in-law in his old Camry, asking to split dinner checks, making jokes about early bird specials. I would have been a reminder of reality. Too annoying. That was the word Sarah had used. Too honest, she'd meant. Too real. The phone rang. Sarah again. This time I answered. Dad! Finally! I've been so worried. I need to ask you something, I said calmly. The emergency room visit last year. The $6,000. What were you really treated for? Silence stretched like taffy. Dad, that's... Why are you asking about that now? Simple question, Sarah. What was the diagnosis? I told you. Stomach pains. They ran tests. Which hospital? What? Which hospital in Orlando? Florida Hospital? Advent Health? I'd like to see the itemized bill. More silence. I heard David's voice in the background, muffled. Who is it? Then clearer. Hang up. Dad, I don't understand why you're being like this. I'm being like someone who paid $6,000 and wants to see receipts. My voice stayed level, professional, the tone I'd used in audits when executives started sweating. I'll wait. This is ridiculous. You never asked for receipts before. I'm asking now. Sarah's voice cracked. You're really going to nickel and dime your own daughter? After everything? After everything I've given you? The words came out sharper than intended. That's the point, isn't it? Everything I've given. $87,000 over 5 years. And apparently it still wasn't enough to earn a seat on the vacation I paid for. Dad, send me the hospital bills, Sarah. You have 1 week. I hung up. My hand was shaking now. Not from anger, from something clearer. Energy, purpose. I opened a new document on my laptop, typed at the top, Action Plan. Then I started writing. The action plan took shape over 2 days. Step 1 required verification. I called Paradise Resort in Nassau, navigating their system until reaching Christine in guest services. Need to confirm a reservation, I said, providing the confirmation number. Keys clicked. Yes, Mr. Henderson. 3 rooms, 7 nights, check-in July 15th, paid in full. Cancellation policy? 14 days or more before arrival, 85% refund. Less than 14, 50%. Less than 72 hours, no refund. The trip was 3 weeks out, plenty of time. Cancel today, how long for refund? 7 to 10 business days to original payment method. Perfect, I'd like to cancel. Christine hesitated. All 3 rooms? All 3. May I ask? Family emergency, unavoidable. 20 minutes later, confirmation emails arrived. Refund processing, $15,625 from resort. Airline took longer, hour on hold with American, but eventually $5,200 back after fees. Total recovered, $29.25. Not bad for morning's work. Step 2 needed legal counsel. I walked next door that afternoon. Walter Price was organizing fishing tackle in his garage. 70, lean, healthy from tennis and fishing. Martin, he looked up. Twice in 1 week. Either you need my hedge trimmer or something's seriously wrong. Need your brain. Professional consultation. Walter set down the tackle. Come in. Sounds like beer conversation. His kitchen smelled like coffee and cinnamon rolls. We settled at the breakfast bar. Walter grabbed 2 Yuengling lagers from his Frigidaire. Talk, he said. I laid it out. Vacation message. 87,000 over 5 years. Thomas's report. Walter listened, attorney face neutral, assessing. When I finished, he drank. First question, what do you want? Revenge or resolution? Both. Can't always have both. Sometimes you choose. Then revenge first. Resolution if they earn it. Walter nodded. Fair. You canceled the vacation. This morning. They don't know? Not unless resort called them. Unlikely. So they show up at Orlando International, expecting to fly, and... Walter grinned. That's cold, Martin. I like it. Just the opening move. What else? I showed him Thomas's report. Walter whistled at the debt numbers. David's in default on 85,000? 2 months behind. Bank's probably sending final notices. Sarah's got 47,000 credit card debt on less than $5,000 monthly. Walter shook his head. They've been using you as emergency fund. Not anymore. Here's the thing, Walter said, shifting lawyer mode. Those transfers, documented as gifts, you can't demand repayment. But evidence they were loans, he trailed off. Most were verbal, pay me back agreements. Text messages, emails. Sarah's got texts promising repayment on car down payment. Not ironclad, but something. Draft a demand letter. Scare them. Even if it doesn't hold court, makes them sweat. No good lawyers? Walter laughed. Retired, but I know someone who owes you. Remember Jennifer Lawson? Distant bells. Family law attorney? You helped her 6 years back. Ex-husband hiding assets. You found offshore accounts. Saved her $200,000. I remembered. Pro bono. Last case before retirement. Fruit basket and thank you card. Still practicing? Own firm in Tampa. Estate disputes. Family law. Very aggressive when needed. Walter pulled out phone. Let me text her. While Walter typed, I processed next steps. Vacation cancellation would detonate in 3 weeks. Needed more leverage. Walter, I said slowly, if someone used my name as credit reference without permission, that's fraud. Federal offense. Wire fraud if crossed state lines. Why? Thomas's report said David took business loan, listing me as reference. I never gave permission. Walter's expression sharpened. Sure? Never signed anything. Never spoke to any bank about David. Reportable crime. FTC, possibly FBI if amounts are large. He studied me. You want to go that far? I thought about the message. Being too annoying for vacation I'd funded. 5 years as ATM with Pulse. Yes. All right. Walter's phone buzzed. Jennifer can meet tomorrow afternoon. Her office on Dale Mabry near Raymond James Stadium. 2 o'clock work? I'll be there. We finished beers talking logistics. Walter had that court look, focused, energized. Retirement bored him. This was entertainment. You know what they're not expecting, he said as I left. That you'll fight back. They think you're soft. Nice guy who always caves. They're about to learn differently. One warning, Martin. Walter's tone turned serious. Once you start, it gets messy. Family stuff always does. Make sure you can live with outcome. I thought about that message. The heart emoji making it worse. I can live with it. That night I drafted email to Sarah. Subject, vacation update. Sarah, I've canceled Bahamas reservation due to ongoing tension. Resort refunded $15,025. American Airlines $200. Funds held pending resolution of our financial discussions. Still waiting for hospital bill. Dad. Finger hovered over send. Bulldog didn't hesitate. Click. Sent. Poured whiskey. Sat on terrace. Checked phone every 5 minutes. 30 minutes later, it rang. Sarah. Let it go to voicemail. Listened to message. Speaker on. Dark. Dad, what the hell did you just do? Pure panic now. No sweetness, no manipulation. Raw fear. Music to my ears. The morning of their scheduled departure arrived like Christmas. I woke early, made coffee, settled on the terrace with my phone. Their flight departed Orlando International at 10:15. Check-in opened 3 hours before. By 7:30, they'd be there. I waited. 7:42, my phone rang. Sarah. I answered on the 4th ring. Morning. Dad, we're at the airport? Her voice tight, controlled. David was listening. There's some problem with our reservation. The airline says our tickets are invalid. That's because I canceled them. Silence. Long enough I thought the call dropped. You... What? I sent you an email explaining everything. 2 days ago. Did you read it? I thought... Her voice cracked. I thought you were just upset. I didn't think you'd actually follow through? I sipped my coffee. Calf? Bustelo from Publix. Sarah, I told you exactly what I did. Resort canceled. Airline canceled. Pretty clear. Background noise erupted. David's voice, sharp and angry. Let me talk to him. Phone rustled. David came on, breathing hard. Martin, what are you doing? We're standing here with our bags packed. My parents are here. Do you understand how humiliating this is? I understand perfectly. Fix this. Right now. Call the airline. No. That syllable landed like a hammer. David went quiet. You can't be serious. This is childish. We're family. Family doesn't call each other too annoying for a vacation they paid for. Sarah explained that. It was a misunderstanding. Pretty clear. She even added a heart emoji. Very thoughtful. Robert Morrison's voice in background, loud and demanding. What's going on? Why aren't we checking in? You explain it to your parents. Tell them how you planned a luxury vacation on my dime, then decided I wasn't good enough to join. I'm sure they'll understand. You're making a mistake, Martin. No, David. I'm correcting one. Have a nice day. I hung up. Phone rang again immediately. Sarah. I declined. Text messages flooded in. Sarah. Dad, please, this is insane. Sarah. David's parents are asking questions. We don't know what to tell them. Sarah. You're embarrassing us in public. That last one made me laugh. The mockingbird looked at me from the oak tree, head tilted. They're embarrassed, I told the bird. Imagine that. 20 minutes later, Robert Morrison called. Interesting, I answered. Martin, what in blazes is going on? David says you canceled our vacation? Not your vacation, Robert. My vacation that I paid for. Well, yes, but we were under the impression. You were under the impression I'd bankroll your family trip and then gracefully accept being excluded? That's an interesting impression. Now listen here. No, Robert, you listen. I paid $18,500 for 6 people. Then your son convinced my daughter I was too annoying, so I exercised my right to cancel what I purchased. This is ridiculous. You're acting like a child. I'm acting like someone with self-respect, something I should have done years ago. Years ago? What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm done being the family ATM. $87,000 over 5 years, Robert. That's what being family has cost me. No more. I heard Linda Morrison in background, voice shrill. 87,000? Robert, what is he talking about? We'll discuss this like adults. Come to Orlando. We'll sit down. Nothing to work out. Enjoy your day. I ended the call. Blocked his number. More texts. Now from David. David. My father is furious with us. Thanks a lot. David. Sarah is crying in the airport bathroom. David. You realize you just destroyed our relationship with my parents? That deserved a response. Me. I paid for a vacation. You uninvited me. I canceled. This is called consequences. Welcome to adulthood. David. We'll pay you back. Every penny. Just fix this. Me. You've been promising to pay me back for 3 years on the car alone. I'm not interested in more promises. I muted the conversation, poured more coffee. An hour later, Walter knocked on my door. Phone out, grinning. You're trending on the Clearwater Facebook group. What? He showed me his screen. Someone posted, Does anyone know Martin Henderson on Oak Street? His family is having a loud argument at Orlando Airport. Overheard them saying he canceled their Bahamas trip after they uninvited him. Good for Martin. 63 likes, 42 comments. Most supportive. Small world, Walter said. Susan Miller's daughter works at Orlando International. She witnessed the whole thing. Great, I muttered. No, this is great. Community support. That matters. Walter scrolled comments. Listen, my kids tried pulling something similar. Sometimes you have to show them you won't be a doormat. You've got a support group forming. Phone buzzed. Sarah again. I showed Walter. Don't answer. Let them sit with it. They need to understand you're serious. He was right. I declined. Jennifer's expecting you tomorrow at 2. She's already drafting the demand letter. Once they get that, things escalate. Good. Walter studied me. No second thoughts? I thought about that morning. Sarah crying in airport bathroom. Robert Morrison furious. David's house of cards collapsing. Linda discovering her son was broke. None. After Walter left, I sat on terrace and looked at my phone. 37 unread messages. Voicemails piling up. Old Martin would have caved, called back, fixed everything, written another check. Bulldog just blocked more numbers. Email dinged. Thomas Bradley. Subject. Additional information, Morrison investigation. I opened it, skimmed first paragraph. Martin, following up on initial report, did further digging into David Morrison's business practices. Found something interesting you should know about? I kept reading. Then I smiled. This was going to be good. Jennifer Lawson's office sat on Dale Mabry Boulevard, 3rd floor of a glass building near Raymond James Stadium. Professional. Polished. The kind of place that sent a message before you walked in. Receptionist recognized my name. Mr. Henderson, Ms. Lawson is expecting you. Coffee? Please. Conference room overlooked Tampa Bay. Floor-to-ceiling windows, leather chairs. Jennifer entered moments later. Mid-50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. Attorney who smiled before destroying you. Martin Henderson, firm handshake. Walter filled me in. Sounds like you've had an interesting week. That's one word for it. We sat. Jennifer opened portfolio, pulled out legal pad. Let's talk about what you want. Legally, financially, practically. What's the end goal? I'd rehearsed this. I want consequences. Documentation that the money I gave were loans, not gifts. And I want my daughter to see who she married. Jennifer wrote quickly. Loans angle is tricky. Family transfers usually classified as gifts unless there's written agreement. But Walter mentioned text messages where Sarah promised repayment. Car down payment, $15,000. She texted, we'll pay you back in 6 months, promise. That helps. Anything else? Wedding. She called it an emergency loan when asking for extra $5,000. Jennifer's pen moved faster. Emergency loan. Good words. What about David? Nothing documented, but Thomas Bradley's investigation found something. I showed her Thomas's email. David used my name as credit reference for his business loan without my knowledge. Jennifer's expression shifted. Predatory. That's identity fraud. Federal offense. When did you find out? 3 days ago. Thomas confirmed with bank. SunTrust, Winter Park branch. They have paperwork listing me as personal reference. I never spoke to them. Documentation proving you never authorized this. I can get notarized statement. Never signed anything for David. Never spoke to SunTrust. Jennifer leaned back, fingers steepled. This changes things. Not just family drama. Reportable to Federal Trade Commission, possibly FBI. Wire fraud, identity theft. David could face criminal charges. Good, she studied me. You understand this will blow up your family. Not might, will. Sarah chooses between you and husband. Morrison's circle wagons. Gets ugly. Already ugly. I'm just making it official. Jennifer nodded. All right, here's what I propose. Formal demand letter to Sarah and David, itemizing all transfers with demand for repayment within 30 days. Cite text messages as loan evidence. Keep it civil, but firm. And David's fraud? Separate track. File FTC complaint today. Triggers investigation. Notify SunTrust loan obtained through fraud. David's credit implodes. Bank calls loan. Potential criminal prosecution. How long? Demand letter tomorrow. FTC complaint today. Investigation takes weeks to months, but initial complaint creates paper trail immediately. SunTrust will accelerate foreclosure on David's business. Coffee arrived. I sipped. Good, not as good as Calf. Pistello, but close. The Morrisons, Jennifer said. Financial entanglement. Nothing direct, but they'll pressure Sarah and David. Family pride. Good. Pressure creates cracks. Cracks create opportunities. She slid document across. Draft demand letter. Read it. Beautiful. Professional. Cold. Devastating. Every transfer. Amount. Date. $87,200. Cited Florida Statute 6703. Demanded payment within 30 days or legal action. Perfect, I said. Couriered to their address tomorrow morning. Signature required. They'll know it's serious. Hour going over details. Documentation, timelines, responses. By the time I left, felt like I'd armed a missile. Drive back to Clearwater, 45 minutes. Traffic light. Kept checking phone for desperate messages. Nothing. Radio silence. Almost worse. Home. Walter waiting on porch. 2 beers. How'd it go? Jennifer's filing everything tomorrow. Demand letter, FTC complaint. Works. Walter whistled. No turning back now. No turning back. We sat, drinking beer as sun descended. Mockingbird quiet. Even birds knew something shifted. Hear from them? Walter asked. Not since morning. Complete silence. They're regrouping. Strategy. David's probably consulting lawyer. Let him. Jennifer's better. Walter laughed. Damn right. That woman's a shark. Long drink. You know what happens next? They'll turn this on you. Bad guy. Family gatherings, mutual friends, social media. Paint you vindictive, cruel, heartless. Let them. Sure you're ready? Small community, word spreads. I thought about Facebook post, comments, support. I'm ready. That night, couldn't sleep. Not anxiety, anticipation. Tomorrow demand letter arrives. FTC complaint filed. Everything escalates. Phone buzzed 11:30. Unknown number. This is Linda Morrison. We need to talk. In person. Tomorrow. This has gone far enough. Linda reaching out directly. New. Interesting. I didn't reply. Let her wait. Let them all wait. Bulldog was just getting started. Courier delivered the demand letter at 9:47. Jennifer texted. Signature confirmed. Sarah Henderson Morrison signed 9:47 a.m. Let the games begin. I was on terrace, second coffee. Mockingbird singing. Beautiful day. Somewhere in Orlando, my daughter was opening an envelope that would detonate her world. 38 minutes later, phone exploded. Sarah called 6 times. I declined each. Then texts. Sarah. What is this? Sarah. A lawyer? You sent us a lawyer letter? Sarah. We can't pay $87,000. You know we can't. I sipped coffee. Let messages pile. David's text came, aggressive. David. This is harassment. We're contacting our attorney. David. Sarah is having a panic attack because of you. That almost made me respond. Almost. But Sarah's panic over consequences wasn't my problem. It was David's. 20 minutes later, Linda Morrison called. I answered. Martin. Voice tight, controlled. We need to discuss this like adults. I agree. That's why I hired attorney. Very adult. This demand letter is outrageous. $87,000. You're claiming gifts were loans. I'm documenting. Sarah's text messages proved they were loans. She promised repayment. multiple times. That's what families say. You can't hold people to casual promises. Under Florida Statute 68703, I can. Jennifer explained it. Did you read past the dollar amount? Silence. She hadn't. Linda, did David mention he committed federal fraud using my name? That's ridiculous. SunTrust has documentation. He listed me as personal reference without my knowledge. Identity theft. I filed Federal Trade Commission complaint. Longer silence. Voice changed. Sharper. Colder. You filed against David? I filed about fraud in my name. If David did it, that's on him. You're destroying this family? No, Linda. Protecting myself. There's a difference. She hung up. Walter knocked hour later, phone in hand, grinning. You need to see this. Clearwater Facebook exploded. Airport incident posted. People adding stories about entitled family. One post. My neighbor Martin Henderson is standing up to family after years of being used. Good for him. More seniors should set boundaries. 247 likes. You're becoming folk hero, Walter said. That's terrifying. No, leverage. Public opinion matters. Harder to paint you villain. Phone buzzed. Robert Morrison. I put it on speaker. Martin, this spiraled out of control. We need to meet. Work this out. What's to work out? $87,200? 30 days. Math is simple. They don't have that money. You know they don't. Then they shouldn't have spent it. Sarah is your daughter, your flesh and blood. How can you do this? Walter's eyes on me. This was the question. Let me ask something, Robert. If David did this to Linda, used her, dismissed her, committed fraud in her name, what would you do? That's different. No, it's not. Answer the question. Robert sputtered. This isn't the same. Exactly the same. Except David's your son, so you can't see clearly. But I can. Done pretending it's acceptable. You'll never see Sarah again. She'll never forgive you. Maybe, but at least she'll respect me. Hung up. Walter whistled. Cold. True, I corrected. Email pinged. Jennifer. Update. David hired Gerald Hendricks, low-tier Orlando firm. Threatening countersuit for emotional distress. Standard bluffing. Ignore. More interesting. SunTrust received fraud notification. Legal reviewing David's loan. Expect fast movement. Jennifer. Forwarded to Walter. Hendricks and Associates, Walter said. Ambulance chasers. David can't afford real attorney. How long before business collapses? Already collapsing once SunTrust calls loan? Days. That afternoon, Sarah showed up, watched through window as her BMW pulled up. She sat 5 minutes before getting out. Looked terrible. No makeup, hair back, sweatpants, an old UCF hoodie. She knocked softly. Open door. Didn't invite her in. Dad, voice broke. Please, you have to stop this. Stop what? Protecting myself? You're destroying us. David's business failing. Bank called about his loan. Investigating because of your complaint. Bank's investigating because he committed fraud. He didn't... Stopped. Looked away. He was just trying to get approved. Didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything by committing federal crime in my name? That's your defense. Real tears started. I don't know what to do. David's parents furious with me. Think I put you up to this? David barely speaking to me. Everyone's angry and it's falling apart and I just wanted a nice vacation. There it was. Truth under everything. You wanted nice vacation, so you excluded person who paid. Now surprised there are consequences. I was trying to keep everyone happy. Everyone except me. Sarah wiped eyes. What do you want? Just tell me. What do I have to do to fix this? Looked at my daughter. Exhausted, desperate. Finally understanding actions had prices. I want you to figure out who you are. Without David telling you. Without me bailing you out. Just you. Making real choices and living with them. That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters. Closed the door. Stood listening to her cry on the other side. Didn't open it again. Bulldog had learned something during 35 years of auditing. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let people face their own numbers. A week passed. The dominoes fell beautifully. SunTrust moved first. Jennifer forwarded me their letter to David, marked Urgent Loan Default Notice. The bank had accelerated the full balance due immediately, $85,000 within 15 days, or foreclosure proceedings would commence on Morrison Premier Properties. They're not messing around, Jennifer wrote in her email. Once fraud enters the picture, banks panic. David's credit score just dropped below 500. He's essentially unhireable and unloanable for the next 7 years. Minimum. I forwarded the email to Walter. He called immediately. Did you see the part about the FTC investigation? Walter sounded gleeful. They're treating it as wire fraud since the loan application crossed state lines. Federal charges, Martin. That's prison time if they prosecute. Will they? Depends on David's lawyer. If Hendricks is smart, he'll negotiate a plea deal. Restitution, probation, permanent record. If he's stupid, they go to trial, and David loses everything. I sipped my morning coffee. Either way, David's real estate career is over. Deader than a doornail. Nobody trusts a realtor convicted of fraud. That afternoon, Susan Miller from down the street stopped me at the Publix on Gulf to Bay. She was in the produce section, picking through tomatoes. Martin, she waved me over conspiratorially, you'll never believe what I heard. I waited. Susan was the neighborhood information hub. If something happened within 5 miles, she knew about it. David Morrison's parents are selling their house, she stage whispered. My realtor friend saw the listing go up this morning, asking $385, but they owe $340 on the mortgage. They're barely going to break even. The house in Palmasea? The very one. Apparently Robert told the realtor they need to downsize for retirement. But everyone knows what really happened. She leaned in closer. They refinanced last year to bail out David's business. Now, with everything falling apart, they can't afford the payments. I processed this. The Morrisons were broke, actually genuinely broke. All that posturing about investment portfolios and country clubs, and they'd mortgaged their future on their failure of a son. Thanks for the update, Susan. Oh, and Martin, she touched my arm, everyone in the neighborhood is on your side. What your family did to you was shameful. You're absolutely right to stand your ground. Public opinion. It mattered more than I'd expected. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered cautiously. Mr. Henderson? A woman's voice, professional, clipped. This is Rachel Simmons from Hendricks & Associates. I'm calling on behalf of David Morrison regarding your demand for repayment. David's lawyer. Finally. I'm listening. Mr. Morrison would like to propose a settlement. He acknowledges receiving financial assistance from you over the years and is willing to enter into a structured repayment plan. How structured? $500 monthly over the next 14 years. I laughed. Couldn't help it. That's not a settlement. That's an insult. My attorney's demand letter was very clear. $87,200. 30 days. We're now at day 12. Mr. Henderson, be reasonable. My client doesn't have that kind of liquidity. Then he shouldn't have spent it. Tell David if he wants to negotiate, he can have his attorney contact my attorney. Jennifer Lawson at Lawson Family Law. She's expecting your call. I hung up. Walter knocked on my door 20 minutes later. He'd been listening to his police scanner again, his weird retirement hobby. You're not going to believe this, he said, barely containing his grin. Orange County Sheriff's Office just did a domestic disturbance call at Sarah and David's address. What? Neighbors reported loud arguing, something breaking. Deputies showed up, no arrests, but they filed an incident report. Public record. The marriage was imploding, right on schedule. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number, but I recognized the writing style immediately. Linda Morrison. Martin, this is getting out of hand. David and Sarah are separating. She's talking about divorce. Robert's blood pressure is through the roof. We need to resolve this before someone gets seriously hurt. Please. For the first time, Linda Morrison said please to me. I typed back, tell Sarah to contact Jennifer Lawson's office to discuss settlement terms. Until then, the 30-day notice stands. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Linda. You're a cold man, Martin Henderson. Me. I'm a fair man. There's a difference. No response. The next morning, Jennifer called with news. Sarah contacted me directly, wants to meet. Without David, without his parents. Just her and you. What's her angle? Claims she didn't know about David's fraud. Says she's filing for divorce. Wants to settle her portion of the debt separately from his. Smart. Sarah was jumping ship before it sank completely. When? Tomorrow afternoon, if you're available. My office. Neutral ground. I thought about it. Sarah showing up alone meant the Morrisons had finally fractured. The united front had collapsed. Set it up. That night, Walter and I sat on my porch with beers. The mockingbird was quiet, but cicadas filled the air with their electric buzz. "You think she's sincere?" Walter asked, Sarah wanting to settle. "I think she's desperate. David's drowning, and she doesn't want to go down with him. Smart girl. Late, but smart. We'll see. She's lied before." Walter raised his beer. "To consequences. To consequences," I echoed. My phone buzzed one more time. Text from David's number, but the writing style was all Robert Morrison. "You've destroyed my son's life, his business, his marriage, everything. I hope you're proud of yourself. This is what you wanted, isn't it? To punish him for one mistake?" I stared at the message. One mistake. That's what Robert called 5 years of using me as an ATM, fraud, and treating me like I was too annoying to exist. I didn't respond. Let Robert sit with his son's ruins. Tomorrow, I'd hear what Sarah had to say. But tonight, I just sat on my porch, drinking beer with my friend, watching the Florida sunset paint everything gold. The bulldog had done his job. Now came the reckoning. Jennifer's office felt different the second time. Colder. I arrived 15 minutes early. Jennifer met me in conference room. She's already here. Looks like she hasn't slept in days. Good. Martin, whatever happens, she's still your daughter. She's been my daughter 35 years. Hasn't stopped her treating me like a wallet. Keep an open mind. People surprise you. Sarah entered 5 minutes later. Wrecked. Dark circles, bloodshot eyes, unwashed hair. Same UCF hoodie. Hands shook. "Dad!" Voice cracking. "Let's keep this professional. Jennifer's here as my attorney. Anything you say can be used in settlement." Sarah flinched. "You're really doing this? You're really surprised?" Jennifer opened portfolio. "Sarah, you want to settle your portion separately from David. Still accurate?" "Yes. Filed for divorce yesterday. Papers being served today." "On what grounds?" "Fraud, misrepresentation, financial infidelity." Voice hardened. "Turns out my husband's been hiding more than that loan. Gambling debts. Credit cards in both our names he maxed out. Been lying about everything for years." I watched carefully, genuine or calculated. "When did you find out?" "After you canceled vacation. After demand letter." Sarah looked at me directly. I started digging. David's been cooking books, using my income to cover gambling losses, forging my signature on loans. "Like he forged mine?" She nodded, tears starting. "I didn't know, Dad, I swear. When FTC letter arrived, I confronted him. He admitted everything, said he had to use your name because his credit was shot." Jennifer made notes. "Documentation?" "Bank statements, credit card bills, text messages where he admits gambling." Sarah pulled out phone. "Forwarded everything this morning." Jennifer checked. "Received. This helps significantly." "Helps what?" "Separating yourself from joint liability. If you can prove David engaged in fraud without your knowledge, you're not responsible for debts he incurred through deception." Hope flickered. "So I wouldn't pay back full $87,000? "Depends," I said. "How much did you personally request?" Sarah swallowed. "Wedding, kitchen renovation, car down payment, smaller things." "Put a number on it." "Maybe 45,000. Maybe 47,200. Voice barely audible. I kept a spreadsheet. After demand letter, I went back through everything. Room went quiet. Sarah had known. She'd known exactly. "Did you know David was committing fraud when you asked?" Jennifer asked. "No, but I knew we couldn't afford to pay you back." Sarah met my eyes. "I knew we were lying every time we said we would. I just thought you wouldn't mind. You're my dad. Dads help their kids. Dads get invited to vacations they pay for." Sarah broke, full sobbing. "I know. That message was worst thing I ever did. David kept saying you'd embarrass us, make everything about money, ruin the trip. I was so stupid, trying to keep everyone happy, and I destroyed everything." I watched my daughter cry. Part of me wanted to comfort her. Bulldog knew better. "Jennifer, options?" Option 1, structured settlement for her portion, 47,200. Payment plan based on actual income. Failure triggers legal action. Option 2, bankruptcy. Chapter 7. You get nothing, but neither does David. Clean slate if she qualifies. Sarah looked up. Bankruptcy would destroy my credit. So would judgment lien, Jennifer said neutrally. I leaned forward. Option 3. Sarah pays me back by actually changing, gets financial counseling, learns to live within means, makes payments she can actually afford, rebuilds our relationship through actions, not promises. How much? Sarah whispered. $800 monthly, 7 years. Financial counseling verification sent to Jennifer quarterly. Jennifer did quick math. $67,200 over 7 years. You're forgiving $20,000. I'm investing $20,000 in my daughter learning consequences. I looked at Sarah. But here's condition. You don't just pay money. You show me you've changed. Monthly dinner, just us. Tell me about your life. Real life, not Instagram version. Ask me about mine. Act like daughter, not debtor. If you miss payment without valid reason or lie to me again, full $87,000 becomes immediately due. No appeals. Sarah stared. You'd really give me another chance? I'm giving you a choice. Prove you're worth it. What about David? The Morrisons? Not my concern. Jennifer handles them separately. You focus on yourself. Sarah nodded frantically. Yes, I'll do it. Whatever it takes. Jennifer, draw up agreement. Consider it done. Sarah stood, came around table, hesitated. Can I hug you? I stood. Actions first. Prove it. She nodded, wiping eyes. I will. No more promises, Sarah. Just results. After she left, Jennifer and I sat in silence. You went easy on her. No. I gave her hardest thing possible. Chance to succeed or fail on own merit. No excuses. No bailouts. Just reality. And if she fails, then I'll know I tried. She'll know consequences. Phone buzzed. Text from Walter. Just saw David Morrison being escorted out of his office by bank representatives. Looked like he was about to cry. Thought you'd want to know. I showed Jennifer. She smiled grimly. 1 down. 2 to go. Bulldog wasn't done yet. Late September arrived with cooler air and final reckonings. David Morrison accepted plea deal with FTC. Guilty to wire fraud, 3 years probation, $50,000 restitution, permanent criminal record, real estate license revoked. Morrison premiere, properties closed, September 20th. David got job stocking shelves at Target overnight, 38, starting over at minimum wage. Morrison's house sold early September. After mortgage and fees, netted $11,000. Moved into 2-bedroom apartment near Brandon. No country club, no portfolio boasting. Sarah made first payment September 1st. $800 on time. Dinner at Cracker Barrel, neutral ground. She talked about apartment, financial counseling, divorce. Asked about my week. Felt forced, awkward, but she showed up. That counted. Last Saturday, September, unexpected visitor. Robert Morrison stood on porch, alone. Age decade and 3 months. Gray turned white. Confident posture gone. Wore Walmart khakis. Not Tommy Bahama. Martin, may I come in? I considered making him stand there. Decided against it. 5 minutes. We sat in living room. Robert looked around at modest furniture, old TV, simple space. Saw realization dawn. This was always enough for me. Never needed to impress anyone. I came to apologize. Linda wanted to come too, but I told her I needed to do this alone. Man to man. I waited. We lost everything because we believed David's lies. But that's not why I'm here. Robert met my eyes. I'm here because we treated you like you were beneath us. Mocked your house, car, life. Encouraged Sarah and David to use you. When you finally stood up, I called you vindictive. I was wrong. About all of it. What changed your mind? Hitting bottom. Bitter laugh. You know what it's like standing in line at food bank, explaining to apartment manager why credit score is 520, realizing your son is criminal and you enabled him. Paused. Linda and I went through old photos last week, found pictures from Sarah's wedding. You were smiling in every single one, happy for her, and we were planning how to exclude you from next gathering. Why tell me this? Because you deserve to hear it. You were good man who helped family, and we punished you for not being doormat. That's evil. Simple, stupid, evil. Voice steadied. I don't expect forgiveness. Don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know I finally understand what you've been trying to teach. Respect isn't about money. It's about dignity. Room was quiet. Mockingbird sang outside. Robert, Answer honestly. If I hadn't canceled that vacation, would any of you have changed? No. Immediate. Certain. We'd have kept using you until you died or went broke. Thank you for being honest. Robert stood. David's moving to Georgia next month. Fresh start. Linda and I staying. Sarah's trying. Talks about you differently now. Like you're her father again, not her bank. Moved toward door. I won't bother you again, but I wanted you to know. You were right. About everything. After he left, sat on porch. Walter came over that evening. Heard Robert Morrison was here. He apologized. You accept? I acknowledged it. That's different. Walter nodded. Sarah's payment cleared. On time, every month. You think she'll make it? Don't know. But I gave her chance. That's all I can do. We drank in silence. Florida sunset painted everything gold. You got what you wanted. Justice. Respect. They learned. Not what I wanted. What they needed. Paused. I wanted my daughter to value me without price tag. Rest was just necessary math. And now? Now I wait and see if she proves me right or wrong. Phone buzzed. Text from Sarah. Dad, I know we have dinner next week, but I wanted to say thank you. Not for forgiving me. I know you haven't. Not really. But for giving me chance to earn it. I won't waste it. S. showed Walter. She's learning. Maybe. October arrived with genuine fall weather. Mockingbird stuck around. Sarah made second payment, on time. We had dinner. She asked about my CPA days, listened to old stories. Felt less forced. David left for Georgia without saying goodbye. Morrison sent Christmas card early October. Inside, Linda wrote, We understand if you never want to see us again, but we wanted you to know we're sorry, and we're proud of the man who taught us about consequences. Robert and Linda. I didn't respond. Some apologies don't require acceptance, just acknowledgement. Jennifer closed her file mid-October. Cleanest resolution I've seen. Everyone got what they deserved. Including me? Especially you. You got your dignity back, worth more than $87,000. Last Saturday, October, Sarah showed up unannounced. Brought coffee and bagels from place I liked. Is this allowed? Off-schedule visit? Depends. What do you want? Nothing, I just sat on porch steps. I wanted to sit with my dad and drink coffee. No agenda, no crisis. Just this. Joined her. We drank coffee. Watched Mockingbird. Didn't talk much. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. Bulldog had done his job. Family learned their lesson. And I learned something too. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is refuse to be kind until people earn it. Justice wasn't just about winning. It was about teaching people the price of their actions. And I'd taught them well. Mockingbird sang. My coffee was good. My daughter sat beside me, quiet and humble. For the first time in 5 years, I felt like a father instead of an ATM. That was victory enough. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.